Hey guys, so this is really cool. This is there's a good friend of mine, and she is very intuitive. She's seen plenty of beings, ghosts, whatever you want to call it. She's had plenty of unusual experiences. So I wanted to share with you guys one of her more um, interesting encounters, interesting experiences that she's had. So she was having this recurring dream. She was in her car. She was in the passenger seat in the front. Her husband was driving. The two kids were in the back. They were on a highway. The speed limit was 70. They were driving, along a little over 70 on the highway. They were going to a zoo, a couple in a nearby city. And then on the way to the zoo on the highway, when they're traveling over 70 miles an hour, something happens where the car ends up getting in an accident and flipping upside down. And the husband dies, the kids survive, and her, my friend in the passenger seat, she gets really injured and eventually later on dies due to the injuries. She kept having that dream over and over again. Now she's really connected, and she's one who's had dreams that were premonitions, and she was pretty convinced that this was a future scenario, and she was very concerned because she kept having the dream. It's very real, and she like I said, she's the kind of person where if she's having these kind of dreams, it's probably premonitions about what's going to happen. So she went to one of her friends who was very wise and very experienced with these matters. This person that she went to um, has handled these kind of situations before and can offer good advice. The advice her friend gave her was that she said the next time you're in that dream, or the next time you're able to remember as you're in that dream and kind of wake up in the dream and realize that what's going on, become lucid, have a lucid dream. She advised my friend to look around in her environment while that car is driving along before it gets in the accident. Look around, pay attention to the scene, look at everything, look for all the clues. Now she wasn't like, I don't think she was trying to tell her to like look out the window and see what causes the accident. She wanted her to study her environment, the interior of the car, all the details. She said that the lady who was helping my friend, she said that after you look at all of the details in the car, figure out something you can change. So when you're in that scenario in real life, you can make the adjustment. You can change something before you're leaving for the trip. Change something. So look at what could possibly be changed so that in real life, if that does happen where you are going on this trip, you can make the change. And then if you change it, hopefully the outcome will change. A few years later, she was going on a trip to a zoo in a nearby city. Now you're probably thinking, if she has these experiences and knew like something really bad was going to happen, why didn't she just go no? But think about it. Think about how that would have been to her family. Think of how she would have appeared and like, oh, mom's losing it. She's like, no, it's gonna be bad. We're all gonna die. Like, she, she was gonna go on the family trip. It was planned out. It just happened to be the zoo, and but she was getting that feeling like, oh man, I hope it doesn't happen. But she trusts, she trusts herself, and she trusts fate, and she's gonna go on the trip. But she took her friend's advice very seriously. So now we're gonna go back a few years to when she was having those dreams. So when she had that dream again, she remembered, okay, let me look around, let me find something, let me find some clues, let me find something I'll be able to change. And so and it was in the back seat with her two kids. Now she realized there's room for three. It's, it's a typical 5-seat car, so there's two in the front, three in the back. So she's like, huh, maybe I can invite one of the neighborhood kids, one of their friends, to come with us, and we'll have a fifth person. And that way it will be very different from what the dream was. There would be five of them in there, not just the four. That would be a real change. So that's what she did. Years later, they were going on the trip, and it was easy to invite the neighborhood kid, and the neighborhood kid was coming along with them. So it was her husband, and the three kids. Now they go on the trip, go on the highway, 70 miles per hour. They make it to the zoo. Nothing bad happens. They pull into the parking lot of the zoo, and trying to get to a parking space. And then one of the attendants, one of the workers at the zoo, was like calling out to them, or like waving his hands, saying their windows up, waving his hands. It seemed, now my friend basically said it seemed like he was telling them, no, you can't park here. Stop, stop, stop. This part's closed. Like, don't go here. So they roll down the window. The husband rolls down the window, and he's like, "Hey, your tire's blown. Your tire's blown." And so they get out. The freaking tire was falling off. That tire was really bad. The freaking tire like was coming off. Huh. So the moral of the story: if she hadn't have had the change by having the extra kid in the back, and everything was just according to plan, it's very likely that tire would have fallen off on the highway when they're doing 70, and yeah, really bad things probably would have happened. Kind of like the dream. Husband might have could have been killed. Who knows what was going to happen? But because that extra body was back there, there was extra weight on the car. Well, there's extra weight. Then maybe that made the tire was a little more likely to fall off. Not necessarily. It's just a slight variable change. The weight of the car, the overall weight of everything in the vehicle and all the people, just a tiny, tiny change in overall weight. But it was just enough to like maybe put some pressure on some mechanical parts. The tire fell off a little bit after when it originally was supposed to. So that change made a difference. Her dreams and her friend's advice keyed her in to changing what was about to happen. Um, so yeah, so that's I find that very interesting. And yeah, if you are having a recurring dream about some future event, maybe that advice will help you out too. But and also just to add something interesting to the story, and it's a bad thing, but it's very interesting. Um, a couple of years after that event, her husband had gotten a bad car accident. He was driving by himself. Bad car accident. He didn't get killed, but he got really injured, and he had to have like 2 years of rehabilitation before he could like live a semi-normal life again. So it was almost like he was destined to get in a bad wreck. But my friend, was able to prevent her and the kids from being part of that. So yeah, weird, right?